Hello everyone, good evening. This is Kajal Mishra. I'm a microbiology student of MSc. So today in front of you, I'll discuss few of the things about the infectious disease. Infectious disease, we all are aware of by this word. So infectious disease are basically a illness which is caused by harmful agents. What are those the harmful agents? That is pathogens, right? That get into your body. The most common causes are virus, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. So infectious disease usually spread from person to person, right? Either a viral or a bacterial, and through contaminated food or water, and through bug bites as well. So some infectious disease are minor and some are very serious. So basically, so overall, if I talk about what are the infectious disease, what to think, what to think about this word. So infectious disease are a illness which is caused by harmful organisms, harmful pathogens, which is pathogens like bacteria, virus, so parasites, and these are the pathogens. So that get right into your body from the outside. Then pathogens that cause infectious disease are virus, bacteria, fungi, parasites. Rarely it's prions as well. Prions are like it's a neurodegenerative organism. So you can get infectious disease. You can get infectious disease from other people as well, bug bites as well, and from contaminated food, and from water, from soil. You will get this. So basically, what is the difference between the disease and non-infectious disease? Okay, well, I mean, same. I just told you that say you can get infected by other people as well. So what's the difference between non-infectious things, and what is the difference between infectious and non-infectious? If I talk about the infectious and non-infectious, then infectious diseases are caused by harmful organisms that get into your body from the outside, like viruses and bacteria. And non-infectious disease are not caused by outside organisms. It is but by genetics, anatomical differences, getting older, and the environment you live in. You can't get non-infectious. You can't get non-infectious disease from other people by getting a bug bite or from your food as well. So the flu, measles, HIV, strep throat, like COVID-19, and salmonella. These all are the examples of infectious disease. It's transmitted from person to person. And cancer, if I talk about diabetes, if I talk about the congestive heart, if failure, if I talk about the Alzheimer disease. So these are all the examples of non-infectious disease. It doesn't transfer from person to person. It doesn't transmit from one person to another. So these are the non-infectious disease. So what are the types of infectious disease? If I talk about, then infectious diseases can be viral, can be bacterial, can be parasitic, or fungal infections as well. So these are also a rare group of infectious disease, which is known as a transmissible spongiform encephalopathosis. In the short term, if I talk about that is a TSAS. TSAs. Okay. So, okay, means I'm just continuously taking virus, bacteria. What is viral infection? No, from means in our daily generations, we just heard this, it's a viral fever happened, viral infection happened with this child, with this person, whatever it is. So, what is viral infection? So, viruses are a piece of information where which stores the information, that is DNA or RNA. So, viruses are a piece of information inside of a protected shell that is called capsid. So basically, virus contains either a DNA, either RNA, but not both at once. Huh? So viruses are much smaller than your cells, and they have no way to reproduce on their own. So they require host always to just get increase their population to reproduce them. So they get inside your cells and use your cells, as I told you, the host cell machinery to make copies of themselves. So this is the viral infection. What is bacterial infection? Bacteria are single cell organisms, with their instructions written on a small piece of DNA. So bacteria are all around us. It's means including inside of our body and on our skin. So many bacteria are harmless or even helpful as well. But certain bacteria release toxins, that can make you sick. So this is the bacterial infection. If we talk about fungal infection, then like bacteria, there are many different fungi. They live on and in our body. So when our fungi means get overgrown, or when harmful fungi get into our body through our mouth, our nose, or a cut in our skin, so we can get sick easily. And if we talk about the parasitic infection, then parasites use the bodies of other organisms to live and reproduce. So parasites include worms, as I talk about worms, helminths, and some single cell organism, as you can say like protozoa. What is transmissible? Spongiform, encephalitis. I just use these terms. So what is TSCs? This is called TSCs or prion disease. As I told you, what is prion? The neurodegenerative, uh, mm, responsible for the neurodegenerative. So TSCs means like transmissible spongiform, is an sorry, encephalopathies are caused by prions. So faulty proteins, what happened is like faulty proteins that cause other proteins in our body, usually in our brain, as I told you, the neurodegenerative, it is responsible for that. So usually in our brain to become faulty as well. Our body is unable to use these proteins, or get rid of them, so they build up and make us sick. So prions are extremely rare cause of infectious disease. All right. So, okay, if it is not common, means as I told you that I mean extremely rare cause of infectious disease. What are the common infectious disease? Right? Infectious diseases are extremely common worldwide, but some are more common than others. For instance, each year in if I talk about the US, so in US, like one out of every five people is infected with the influenza virus, no doubt in this. But less than 300 people are diagnosed with prion disease there. So some of the most common infectious disease are listed as by type. If I talk, that is common infectious disease which is caused by virus is common cold, influenza, influenza that is the flu, COVID-19, stomach flu if I talk about the gastroenteritis, then hepatitis, another is respiratory syncytial virus, or yeah. And if I talk about the common infectious disease which is caused by bacteria, earlier it was by virus. Now I'll talk it as for like bacteria, which is caused by bacteria. Strep throat, salmonella, tuberculosis, whooping cough, which is a pertussis. Uh, if I talk then chlamydia, gonorrhea, and other sexual transmitted infections as well. And urinary tract infection as well, E. coli, and then Clostridius difficile as well. Yeah, that is all by the bacteria. If I talk about the common infectious disease which is caused by fungi, then ringworm. We all are really aware of this in India at least. I don't know about other countries, but yeah, means of course everywhere. Like athlete's foot, there is a ringworm. Then fungal nail infection as well. Vaginal candidiasis, like vaginal yeast infection, called thrush as well. And okay, this was a fungi. So what are the common infectious disease which is caused with the parasites? That is like giardiasis, toxoplasmosis, hookworms, and pinworms. So these are by the parasites. So do you ever thought about like who is most at risk for getting infectious disease? Anyone can get an infection disease, so you may be at an increased risk if your immune system is weakened, or if you travel to areas with certain highly transmissible disease. It might chances means people at higher risk of infectious disease, like those with suppressed or compromised immune systems, such as those receiving cancer treatments, or if I say living with the HIV patient, or on certain medicines, so it might chance it. Young children and pregnant people as well, and adults over 60, And those who are unvaccinated against common infectious disease, which we have to like vaccinated by those vaccines, but we are if we are unvaccinated against, then it might like common infectious disease. And healthcare workers who are just, of course, continuous, the patients are coming, they're just walking, it might chances like whatever the precautions they are taking, it might chances that they will they yeah, it might chances that they can affect with that disease. People which are traveling to areas where they may be exposed to mosquitoes and that carry pathogens like malaria, we know, uh, dengue virus as well, and the Zika virus. So, what complications are associated with infectious disease? What happen? Like many infectious disease resolve without complications, but some can cause lasting damage. So serious and life-threatening complications of various infectious disease are if I talk, that is like dehydration. Complication like dehydration causes what happen in dehydration, mostly fever, vomiting and diarrhea happens at the time of dehydration. If I talk about the pneumonia, then what are the cause like pneumonias, it what happen in the respiratory illness, right, viral or bacterial things. If I talk then sepsis, what happened in the sepsis, like it's a bacterial infection. Magnetitis, it is a swelling of the brain, it happens. So at that time, at the moment of swelling of the brain, what happened that multiple causes like including bacterial, viral, fungal and parasitic infections might have chances. AIDS, if I talk, it's all are aware of it, HIV virus. Liver cancer, that is hepatitis B and hepatitis C. If I talk about the cervical cancer, the cause of human papilloma virus. Now it is really in very uh, vast. It's very trending, this human papilloma virus. So if I talk, so if okay, all these are disease. So how do we get to know what are the symptoms of infectious disease? So basically, what is that symptoms? It means it is too easy to identify. No, not too easy, but it's sometimes having similar symptoms as well. We have to visualize it with the two different infection. As symptoms of infectious disease, if I talk, that depend on the type of illness. Okay, so it is if it is a fungal infection, usually cause localized symptoms like rashes, itching, in fungal infection. And if a viral and bacterial infection can have symptoms in many areas of your body, as like fever, chills, you can have a congestion, cough, fatigue, muscle aches and headache, gastrointestinal symptoms, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. And so these are the common. It is important to see a doctor if you have any kind of a chronic or ongoing symptoms that get worse over time. So you must need to see a doctor. So what causes infectious disease? Infectious diseases are caused by a variety of agents, that invade your body from the outside, like virus, bacteria, fungi, parasites, as I told you, the prions, as I told you earlier. So you may develop symptoms when your cells are damaged or destroyed by the invading organisms, and as your immune system responds to the infection. So how do infectious disease spread, right? So depending on the type of infection, basically this depends on the type of infection what you have. So there are many ways that infectious disease can spread. Fortunately, in most cases there are simple way to prevent infection, like your mouth, nose, cuts in your skin, and common places for pathogens to enter your body. Diseases can spread like from person to person when you have cough or sneeze, and in some cases like droplets from coughing or sneezing can linger in the air, and then from close contact with another person, oral or anal or vaginal sex, or by sharing utensils or cups with other people, or on other surface doorknobs, phones and countertops. They just put it hands, then another person came, and then again the same, put the touch is the same thing. So this, and then on surface, like, and through contact with poop from a person or animal with an infectious disease. So through bug or mosquito or tick or animal bites, from contaminated or improperly prepared food or water, from working with contaminated soil or sand, like gardening, from a pregnant person to the fetus, from blood transfusions, organ at the time, tissue transplant as well, or other medical procedures. So in this way, like infections, in this way, like this infection disease spread. So if we talk about the term of diagnosis on tests, so how are diagnosed the infectious disease diagnosed? It's not in our hand, right? We are not like there is particular doctor for a specific kind of disease, so we need to concern with them. So like your healthcare provider usually diagnoses infectious diseases using one or more lab tests. So your provider can look for the signs of disease by like swabbing your nose or throat, getting blood, urine, pee, poop, stool. If we talk, which our saliva means like spit in samples. By these, they just get to know. So, taking a biopsy or scraping a small molecule of skin or another tissue, getting imagining like imaging that is by X-rays or CT scans, MRI. So these are for affected parts of your body. If then we go for X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs. So some test results like from a nose swab come quickly, come back quickly. So but other results might take longer. For instance, sometimes bacteria have to go be grown in the lab, in like in culture, they have to be grown in the lab, means culture. So from a sample, before you can get your test report, test results, so it need to be cultured. So how are infectious disease treated? Treatment depends on what causes the infection, right? So sometimes your healthcare provider will recommend that monitoring your symptoms rather than taking medications. So sometimes it happens like bacterial infections can be treated with antibiotics, no doubt in this. The right antibiotic depends on what bacteria causes the infection. So you can manage most of the viral infections with over the counter medications for a symptom until you feel better. If you have the flu, or your healthcare provider may prescribe the oseltamivir phosphate or any in some cases, then certain viral infections have special medications to treat them, like antiretroviral therapy for HIV, and fungal infections can be treated with antifungal medications. You can take them orally, like fluconazole. So I put them on your skin just where the fungus is, like I have like a clotrimazole. So it is. So parasites can be treated, and the parasites, this can be treated by the antiparasitic drugs, like we have what's the name? Yeah, mebendazole. So there are no treatments for prion disease. It no treatment. वो दिमाग, it will just degenerate your degenerate your this brain, neurodegenerative, sorry. So okay, what is antibiotic resistance then? I have heard about the antibiotic, as I told you earlier, like for this for bacterial infection you need antibiotic and this. So antibiotic resistance is when bacteria develop mutations that make it harder for our medicines to destroy them. So this happens when antibiotics are overused, such as for minor infections that our body could fight off on its own. So antibiotic resistance makes some bacterial infections very difficult to treat and more likely to be life-threatening. So, methicillin resistance, that is Staphylococcus aureus, is an example of a bacterial infection that has become antibiotic resistant. So, healthcare providers are working to reduce antibiotic resistance. You can help and protect yourself by finishing all of your antibiotic medications and prescribed. This helps to make sure all of the bacteria are destroyed and can't mutate. So, what are the preventions that we can take? You all know preventions, hand washing, safe food handling, it's necessary, cleaning and disinfecting things. Only these are the things through which you can prevent yourself. Can infectious disease be prevented? The most important part. There are many simple ways to reduce the risk of infectious disease and even prevent certain illness altogether. So while each of these helps to reduce the risk of getting and spreading infectious disease, often there is no single way that 100% effective at preventing disease. So that's why it is important to have many habits for reducing your risk. So you can think of it like lining up slices of Swiss cheese, a model suggested by, if you have remember, it's James. Yeah. So where some slices have holes, So other slices gives protection. So get a recommended vaccines and simple habits like practicing safe food handling and washing your hands work together to give your layers of protections. Only these. So okay, these were the preventions. What is vaccine? As there was a video in this I told about the vaccines. So if again I'm just telling you, vaccines which reduce your risk of getting an infection disease by training your immune system to recognize and fight off infections from harmful invaders. While people sometimes do get still sick with the disease after getting vaccinated for it, your symptoms are usually less severe than they would have been without the vaccination. So usually given as a short or series of shots, or less commonly as a nasal spray. Vaccines are available for many common infectious diseases like chickenpox, COVID-19, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and yes, when the cervical human papilloma virus, influenza, malaria, measles, mumps, rubella, polio, rotavirus, rabies, shingles, tuberculosis, all these we have vaccines. So this CDC has up to recommended recommendations for vaccines for children, adolescents, and adults. So if you're traveling, make sure you have all the recommended vaccinations for your destination before you go. Safe food handling habits help it if you have these habits, then it will help to prevent certain infectious diseases, like wash your hands thoroughly with soap and before and water before, during and after food preparation. Peel or thoroughly wash all fruits and vegetables. Freeze meats if you're a non-vegetarian, then until ready to thaw. Then cook meats or whatever you have taken in a safe temperature, to a safe temperature before eating. Wash food preparation surfaces and utensils with soap and water after use. Don't eat uncooked or undercooked seafood, and don't drink untreated water as well. Don't drink unpasteurized milk as well. So other ways to help prevent infectious diseases is, if I say, that in addition to vaccines and safe food handling habits, you can reduce the risk of coming down with the or spreading an infectious disease with a few everyday practices, like wash your hands with soap and water. Through hand washing is particularly important before preparing a meal or eating. Also after using the bathroom, after contact with animal or human dung, and after gardening or working with dirt, just wash your hands. Cover your nose and mouth when you sneeze or cough. That other person should not get affected by any kind of a disease or any kind of infectious or non-infectious disease. Disinfect frequently. Touch surfaces at your home and workplace. Then avoid contact with people who are sick and with an infectious disease, or sharing personal items with them. And then avoid the contact with others as well while you are sick with an infectious disease. Then okay, it's not like the only others will just, you have to just make a distance from others only. If you are sick as well, then just make a distance from others as well. Don't drink from or swim in water, or could that could be contaminating. Wear a mask around others when you are sick or as recommended by the CDC. So use and while having any kind of like physical relation with anyone, use the proper protection. And then to reduce the risk of tick or mosquito bites, then use repellent, and which will approved for ticks and mosquitoes. Cover as much exposed skin as you can with cloth and with clothings, and check for ticks after being in the woods or areas with long grass. So yeah, this was. So if I talk about, like what are the outcomes after treatment for infectious disease. So with treatment, most people get better after being sick with an infectious disease. So sometimes there can be still be serious complications, like especially with respiratory illness. Yeah, respiratory illnesses. People with the compromised immune systems are more at risk for serious complications, but they can happen in healthy people too. Okay, so it's not like those who are not healthy, it will happen to them only. It's not nothing like that. So some diseases like HIV and hepatitis B can't be cured, but medications can help prevent serious complications. So that's why sexually transmitted infections can cause infertility or even lead to cancer as well. So it's important to take steps to protect yourself and others. So prion diseases are very serious, and and it can't be cured by anything. So they are fortunately some of the rarest infectious diseases basically. So living with the, like if I tell you like so if you are facing any kind of infectious disease, you must just directly consult with the doctor. Don't go ahead there, don't be your own doctor for any kind of disease. Either it's infectious, either it's a non-infectious. So you must just directly contact with the healthcare, whoever it is. Yeah, that's all from my side about this infectious disease. Thank you very much to every one of you, and if you like this video, kindly subscribe it, like it, share with your friends if you think that it is informative. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to every one of you to listen very carefully. Thank you. Bye bye. We'll see you in the next video.